Hello, higher enthusiasts. Welcome to the podcast. We've got a great podcast today because we were talking about how life is difficult. If I were to ask you to fill in the blank, life is, and you answer, difficult is probably one of the top answers that we would hear. So let's talk about that. But before we do, I want you to check out heartworkuniversity.com. This is an online school for higher learning, living, and loving. It's the how hub, how to do life, how to love, because you know what? Life is difficult. So the courses there are affordable and awesome. Their personal or group coaching is available. Online courses in dating, relationship, authenticity, how to step into you more fully, communication skills. How many of us were taught healthy communication skills? You don't need to fumble around anymore. Compromise. When do you compromise? When do you not compromise? Release that shame, the trauma, the hurts, and forgive. Discover how to master your mind. No more automatic negative thoughts that bog you down and paralyze you. There's also life coach training and purpose discovery training. Okay, so heartworkuniversity.com. That's HEARTWORK university.com. All right, let's get to it. Life is difficult. It sounds kind of depressing, doesn't it? Well, it wasn't when I was first introduced to it, and it still isn't today. It actually gives perspective and powerful mindset skill if we look at this right. So let's go back in time as to when I first was introduced to this concept. I was given the book, The Road Less Traveled, from a friend, and eager to read it because I was on the spiritual journey at that time. My life was a mess and my life needed to change. And let me tell you, this book opened that door big time. I opened to the first page and I was blown away at the first sentence. I literally could have stopped there. It had that huge of an impact on me. The author simply wrote, "Life is difficult." What? I actually started to breathe a sigh of relief. My pain was instantly acknowledged in that moment. I wasn't alone. There were other people that found life difficult. Amazed at the prospect that I might not be the only person feeling imprisoned by poor choices and self-defeating thoughts, just maybe I could release a little self-judgment. Maybe I could inch toward compassion for myself. The statement alleviated, however slight, my guilt for having been raised to love Jesus. I was raised in a very strong faith. But for being so miserable and desperate in life anyway. I was supposed to be, they said, the light of the world. And yet darkness was my shroud. I remember Jesus' words that had been taught from a very young age. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad the road that leads to destruction. And many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. Matthew 7:13-14. According to the Bible, I was supposedly on the narrow road with my salvation secure. But divorce, heartache, and addiction sounded and felt like destruction to me, and I had been there for years. Somehow, life is difficult felt like the first step to opening the gate toward life. As my journey continued, I stumbled upon this Buddhist teaching. Life has pain, but you do not have to suffer. What? Life has pain? An acknowledgement of what felt like was my entire existence, even though I was a child of God? But here was the kicker. I have a choice. Suffering is a choice. I contemplated the mountain of repercussions in such a statement. A rush of everything I'd been learning began to coalesce together. Wow, I really do have a choice, I thought. How profound. But isn't that what James was alluding to in James 1:2? Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance, and perseverance must finish its work to make you whole and complete, not lacking anything. The practice of seeing life through a different lens, seeing trials as joy, seeing suffering as a choice, was the truth hitting me hard in the face, and it was about to set me free. Life is difficult. Life has pain, but I do not have to suffer. Trials produce perseverance, which then make me whole and complete, not lacking anything. Holy moly guacamole! I needed some spiritual guidance to continue this quest, to fully let these concepts integrate into me and become a natural part of me. And one of the greatest ways that happened for me was through coaching. That observer, that witness to my life. It became so powerful. I began to really understand the verse that says, iron sharpens iron. And to this day, I have a personal mentor and coach. I would never not have one. We need that witness, higher enthusiasts, to keep us on track, because the truth is, life is difficult. If we accept that truth rather than resist it, it can turn into joy. It can really make us whole and complete, not lacking anything. Why not grab that opportunity? Don't you want to be your best you? For you. And then, how about for your relationship? That sounds worthwhile. So it woke me up big time to step into the fullness of who I am, thus unleash the life and love and purpose intended for me. That's what I could do when I embraced these concepts. So let me tell you about me a little bit and what I've overcome and recovered from, because you know what? You can too. Pretty much you name it, I've recovered from it. I was a very wounded, hurting person. Suicide was my obsession for most of my adult life. So I'm a recovered overgiver. Yeah, overgiving. It's not healthy. It enables, it codepends, it doesn't help you, and it doesn't help those around you. It's not empowering. It's disempowering. And it's making yourself small. I reached a point where I really could not make myself small any longer. And that's not who we really are. When we are living a life contrary to the truth of who we are in complete contradiction to our authenticity, to our heart, to our divine soul. So overgiving was a big one to recover from. I recovered from being a hopeless romantic. Oh yeah, I was truly a hopeless romantic. Now I'm a hopeful one. I realized that loving me, starting with me, valuing me, then I didn't have to depend on someone else to love me. And I could be hopeful in romance, because romance is not going to work if it's two star-crossed lovers that are in complete dependence of each other, because they just don't have enough love for themselves. I'm a recovered Xanax addict. Oh yeah. Anxiety was my life. I don't even think anxiety is in my lexicon anymore unless I'm teaching about it. I couldn't go anywhere without having little white pills nestled in my pocket, just in case I started to feel bad. And one day I was sick of the pain. I started to believe these truths. I started to believe the spiritual teachers I was reading and seeing that said life could be different. And I flushed those babies down the toilet. Oh yeah, it was courageous, probably a little stupid, but I did it. And I made it. And I've never had one since. I'm a recovered self-doubter. Oh, the self-doubt I used to have. Not to say I'm perfect now. Let me tell you, I still have self-doubt visit me. But it doesn't take me over. It's almost like, hey there, just to remind me to stay on track, to stay in the right mindset. It'll come around, try to doubt me again. I shift from the critic to the witness. That's a huge part of my courses in heartworkuniversity.com. Got to shift from that critic to the witness, because it brings you present and it brings you to who you really are. Okay, what else did I do? Oh, I'm a recovered, disempowered dater and relationshipper. Yeah, back to that dependence on someone else. And this is not to say that The value of another human being in your life is highly valuable. They can balance out our flaws, our weaknesses, and our strengths can help them. And when we can see life in that way, we can really be quite the force. Two can be stronger than one. But until we do the work to realize that we have all this power within us, and we have so much to offer, and it's also a process of accepting everything about us, even the stuff that we don't necessarily are so proud of, or those things we want to hide. When we can love all of us, then you can bring in a partner who will love all of you too. It's not dependent. It is empowerment. I am also a recovered religious dogmatist. Oh yeah, I was one of those, you betcha. I was dogmatic in my faith. I didn't see or recognize other people's faith. And when I was able to break free of that, I literally felt chains drop off of me. I think religion can be very helpful because religion, its purpose really was to teach us how to love. But somehow that's been misconstrued with dogmatism. And we got to get back to love. And it's really about teaching others, teaching ourselves how to love ourselves and others. Love is the key. But for some reason, we have a hard time with that one. How do you love? So heartworkuniversity.com is all about that as well. Hopefully this message today inspires you to just take that first step. You know, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, as said by Lao Tzu. You got to take that one step, and that one step today might be just entertaining the idea that if I accept the fact that life is difficult, maybe it can transform me like it transformed Kim. Maybe if I see trials as an opportunity to make me whole and complete, not lacking anything, maybe that'd be really good. Maybe I can choose to not suffer, accept that life has pain, but I don't have to suffer. These are mindset skills to hone and develop. That's it for today. I'm really blessed that you're here, that you listened to this, and I hope it transforms you, even in the slightest bit. Thank you, higher enthusiasts. We'll see you next time.